Hello.
Yay!
Hi, mate.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah,
that took so long. I don't
that's
know if it's my. I'm gonna share a video, but I am in my pajamas.
don't worry about it. I won't clip anything you don't want. Hey!
Nice to see you.
You too. Isn't it weird when, like,
Thank
you
you.
watch someone online and then you, like, talk to them?
I know. I get it. I get it, but like the other way, like when I see people when I'm out shopping and stuff, and someone talks to me and they're like, "Oh, I've been watching you for ages." Like it feels weird to me that they know me so well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Does that freak you out a bit?
It freaks me out a little bit because it just reminds me that, like, there is actually people behind user
Yeah,
456 700. I think what it is, like, because I share so much
yeah,
online, it, like, gives me the fear a little bit when I realise that there is actually like, I do actually have a digital footprint.
yeah.
And just the idea of, like the idea of people actually watching me just freaks me out. You know, like, the idea of people like, my voice playing through someone's phone, it really freaks me out, and I just think, like, I'm just posting to my little game. Do you know what I mean? My little app.
Yeah. And it's going nowhere. It's just, like, in the bin.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just likes that come through, and I get little it's like coins, like Farmville, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand that. I mean, I was gonna do a bit of chit chat, but we've kinda gone into what I'm gonna ask, so do you mind if I just roll on through?
Course not, course.
So, yeah, I feel like we share a little bit in common, which the main one being I hate being perceived. Like what you've
Yeah,
just talked about there, like the idea of someone just like looking into your soul makes you feel sick.
yeah, yeah, the fact that I exist.
Yeah. So what is that though? Because we've both got accounts, we both share our lives in different ways, but why do we do it?
I don't know if it's a feeling of, like, I can control
Yeah.
this element of it. Um, and I get like I was saying to Chandler the other day, so when I was younger, I applied to be on Big Brother when I was like 18.
Yeah.
And I really thought that like I wanted to do it. And now now I'm a grown up. I just feel like, oh my god, that would have actually been the worst possible thing for me to have all those cameras on me constantly and not know at what point was I on the camera.
Yeah.
Um or what the edit was gonna look like or anything. I think I'd have gone insane. So I think there's just an element of like, I don't mind posting on we don't mind posting on TikTok because we're controlling the way that they perceive us maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think that's same for me as
Um,
well.
yeah, yeah, and also, I think that something that, like, comes into it as well is the fact that when I'm doing my videos, I'm by myself,
Yeah,
so it feels very different to actually sitting and having people talking to me in person and perceiving me in person.
yeah.
I think that's where I feel uncomfortable.
Well, this podcast is about first impressions, so I guess
Yeah.
for people who don't know you, I don't know why they won't know you, but if they don't know you, what sort of you're known on TikTok, so what made you start it, and what kinda first impressions would people get from your TikTok versus offline, do you think?
I think that from my TikTok, it's just literally that's exactly how I am,
Yeah,
like like a million different versions of me and stuff. And but I think that most people's first impressions if they met me in person would probably depend on how they were behaving.
yeah,
So like when I meet people that are really outgoing and extroverted and loud and boisterous, I'm like quite shy.
yeah,
Um and I don't know how to like like, get into the conversation. I don't know where I fit, and I feel really self-aware. But then if I was to, like, go to a group of people that were introverted, underdog, like, do you know what I mean? Maybe
yeah.
they were the shy ones, and then I'd be like, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? "Don't worry, I've got this all covered for us. I can speak for us all." Um So then their first impression of me would probably be that I was really extroverted and
Yeah,
confident.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I think this is why I struggle with first impressions in general because I feel like I feel like there's so much about me. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That I don't
You
know
don't know
how
me.
I don't know how to get it all in the first meeting, you know?
Yeah, it's
But
pressure.
pretty much always yeah. But pretty much always I struggle with no. So all my first impressions seem to be like okay. Like mostly when people meet me, they think I'm okay and all right, decent. Um, but what they don't know is that like I am fighting for my life in that first conversation, and I'm just really good at making it seem like I'm not
Yeah.
somehow. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that I think that's what I love about what you share is that you do share the bits that feel uncomfortable, if you don't mind me saying about talking about ADHD and your
yeah.
journey with that. And I'm not gonna be like, tell me about your trauma. But
Oh no, of
what
course, I don't mind.
well, I think instead let's spin it and say when you got your diagnosis, what
Yeah.
what were the positives, from finding that out versus when you didn't know, I guess? That might be a nice way to put it.
Yeah, so when I got my ADHD diagnosis, the shift in perspective that I had was just like I'd spent so many years feeling like I was just lazy and useless,
Yeah,
and I've just been told hundreds of thousands of times like to just try harder or think next time or consider other people or and I've spent my life just constantly contradicting myself. Like I always want to be the person to get people's birthday presents and birthday cards and to arrive on time and to text people back and like that's how I feel like I should be. And the fact that I've always just continuously let people down all the time, like it really damaged the way that I viewed myself.
mm,
Um because I had so many like contradictions and at the time I thought that maybe I'm not, um, the person that I think I am, and I had a bit of an identity crisis really before I got my ADHD diagnosis, and but when I got my diagnosis, the thing that it gave me was the ability to, like, have compassion for myself.
yeah,
When I realized that what I had been dealing with this whole time was a disability, and when the psychiatrist had said to me, "You've scored really, really high, like, you've been failed massively really, um, to be overlooked this long, then I just suddenly felt like all that anger that I had at myself before, where I was just like, I just hated myself, it suddenly turned to compassion for myself and like this entire time I've been misunderstood. This entire time it wasn't my fault.
yeah,
Um, which was really healing for me then
yeah.
because I was able to say to myself, bless me.
Yeah, a bit of compassion.
Yeah, a bit of compassion. And now I reframe a lot of my thinking. So, like before, when I was struggling with housework or hygiene or things like this, I would say to myself, like, oh, you're so disgusting. Like, you can't even go and get a shower. Or I'd say, oh, look at the like room that you're sitting in right now. It's disgusting. And I would kind of bully myself.
Mm,
But now that I understand I have a disability, and also that I've had a really traumatic life and I have that compassion for myself, I'm now able to say, let's go and get a shower because I deserve to smell nice
yeah,
and I deserve to brush a hair, put a brush through my hair, or I'll say, I deserve to sit in this kitchen without worrying about those pots. And I kind of am able now to coach myself in a compassionate way rather than just bullying myself because I didn't know better.
yeah. Oh, that is just, yeah, you can just see how it would naturally chip away at you if you're constantly telling
Yeah.
yourself all those things that people are telling you. And have you noticed that, like, the people around you have got on board with this, or is it something that you're having to be
Yeah.
like, this is me now?
So basically, before my ADHD diagnosis, I was it was literally a running joke with my friends and family that I was the queen of phases, like going through phases.
Right.
Like me and my friends once did a talent show one night and where we all just like gave each other uh, uh, what are called trophies for like whatever our role was, and mine
Yes.
was the queen of phases, and I like won, and like my friend did a speech about how like all the funny phases that I'd been through and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so when I first started speaking about ADHD, I basically it was I thought I had it when I was 18 and I got a referral, but then I ended up moving away. And then then I was like, no, it's not ADHD, I'm just a psychic. And then so
Just
when I
like
actually I'm just a I'm just an indigo child. And
yeah.
um but then when I came back to it, it was through TikTok. I started seeing like things about ADHD on TikTok, and I just had that epiphany moment again where I was like, "This is it.
Yeah.
This explains everything." So then when I was speaking to my friends and family about it, they were all kind of like, "Oh, okay, maybe just thinking it was another phase that I was going through."
Right.
I was faced with a lot of uh discrimination, maybe, is the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for it. A lot of people being like, "I don't know about that, Ash, like, that's what children have, that's what little boys have, that's"
Yeah.
you know? And so it really took everyone a long time actually to come around to it because people just felt like this was just something that I was saying, and their perception of ADHD was teenage boy.
Yeah.
So I had to, like, really plead my case to them. I was sending them all videos and off TikTok and stuff, and,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and then but the funny thing is now that I have got my diagnosis and that 3 years later everyone started coming around to it,
Yeah.
now they're all saying, "I think I've got that ADHD," and I'm a bit like, I'm a bit they probably do, to be fair, like, it
Yeah.
runs through both sides of my family, I'm
Yeah.
certain, but it makes me, like, be like, "Oh,
Oh,
I
have
wouldn't know about that. Are you a teenage boy?"
you?
Do you know what I mean? It makes
Yeah.
me feel a little bit like, "Oh, now everyone's okay to say they have it," and
Yeah.
but, my personality type is pioneer, so don't
Nice.
mind doing that, I
Yeah.
guess.
Lead the
What's your
troops.
personality type?
I'm
Do you
the
know?
entertainer. Yeah, I'm an entertainer.
Yeah, what's
It's
the letters?
ENFP? Is it?
You're an ENFP!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the ENFP is the pioneer.
Oh, is it? Or maybe S, I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'm definitely either S or N. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm all
That's so
about the
interesting.
feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I'm massively off of that when people say things about stuff and they're like, for instance, like I can't wrap my head around when someone's mad at someone for like something they've done at work. They'll be like,
literally.
I'm not really,
We're all playing
she's
along. Yeah.
in it. And but like until someone actually does something that's at their core, like nasty,
Yeah.
mean, I can't do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all the logistics and stuff like that. I just don't think like that. I'm just
No.
purely like, oh, but I'm a purely emotional
Yeah. Human. I've
person.
literally got
Yeah,
on my
like
notes. Your sense of injustice is exactly like mine. Like, why are you shouting at
yeah,
someone
like
because they're sad?
oh mate, I know. And like when people are talking about, like social issues
Mhm.
or politics and stuff like that, I try and stay away from it now because I just it makes me nasty. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm being nasty because I can't bear to listen to it. But also, like when they're talking about things where they're like talking about statistics and numbers and money
Yeah.
and things like that, it just never ever resonates with me when I'm like, but what about the humanity? What
Yeah.
about the humans? That's always been my entire
Yeah.
focus. Um humanity overall, like even I don't I don't know where I'm going with that. I just lost my trail of thought. Humanity overall.
Yeah, humans. No, that just reminds me, like when I post anything about driving, because I drive
Mm,
with my hands
mhm,
rather than pedals,
mm.
and the troll comments that I get, they're like, "Don't want to be on the road when she's on. It's not safe." Blah blah. And I'm like, I'm literally driving, but a
I'm literally
different
driving.
way. I'm literally driving a car,
I
like you.
know. What's wrong with people, honestly? One of my videos got posted onto, Instagram.
Yeah.
I went on Instagram Reels, and the men hated me. They
Oh,
were
of
just
course they
like
did.
they were just like, "Oh, get yourself on OnlyFans then," and, like, saying stuff like, just really derogatory stuff like, "Go sell your," like, whatever disgusting word they could use for vagina. And they were saying like, "Oh my god, she's so annoying," and, like, just the men just hated me, and I felt like that. I was like, "I'm just a girl in her car."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not hurting no one.
No,
I'm not being offensive. I'm
no.
just a really nice person. I can't ever wrap my head around people being angry at, like, anything other than other people being nasty. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Anything else, it's just like, I can't understand where your anger would come from.
yeah. Why are you bothered how I live my
Yeah,
life? It's just it's sort of
literally.
sad for the minute because 'cause I've obviously not got much to think about.
Yeah, and I like to think as well that those types of people will reap what they sow, because if how you like value people off of such superficial things,
Yeah,
that's how the surround people that you surround yourself with, people that are like, I don't know, you can't live a rich life. Do you know
no,
what I mean? You just can't. You are missing out on so much color to your life if you're such a closed-minded person.
yeah, yeah, and we are good filters for people, I think. Even though it's a lot of energy to be who we are, I
Yeah,
think we surround
yeah.
ourselves with really good people. I want to ask about work, and then we'll do a finale question, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, like work, I I feel very same to you about like I'm definitely a personality hire. No, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put it out there. Like I'm gonna ask you what you've had for tea. I want to know
Yeah.
why Paul down the street is suddenly, got a face like a slapped ass. What's happened? Whereas, everyone's like, oh, here we go, gems on one. Um,
Yeah,
You've talked a lot about that and how, like, we're all just kinda it's a game and we're all just making money and then we've just got
yeah,
to play on the game. But can
yeah,
you tell me a little bit about, like, how have you found work? Having ADHD must be a lot.
yeah. Honestly, I find it really difficult.
Mm,
I find it really difficult to stay in employment. I feel like I get overwhelmed quite easily, and I've struggled. Well, my ADHD symptoms that exist there in work, and so I cry in the office way more than the regular person. I'm being ushered into little rooms quite often. um, and then I also, my manager has to speak to me more than they would the regular person and pull me up on stuff.
yeah,
And she finds it difficult herself because she's a great manager and she really understands and validates my ADHD, which is so rare. But obviously there's still policies that she has to follow. And so she has to sometimes collar me and say, "I'm really sorry because I know that you have ADHD, and how do you tell someone that chronically forgets things to please not forget this?
yeah,
Like, when you can't help it, but I have to ask you to please not forget to do this thing."
yeah.
Um, and she tries to put, like, safety nets in for me and stuff, which
Oh,
is nice. But, then I start to feel bad because I'm increasing her workload, and
yeah.
then she says to me, she's like, "I don't want you to quit." I'm not saying that because I always just, like, leave, and I'm like, "It'd be better if I just quit, if I just die." Um, 'Cause and it's yeah, but so yeah, I have, an employment specialist as well
Right,
that helps keep me in employment because it crops up quite often in my therapy that I, am scared that I'm gonna get fired.
right,
Um, and I think that he didn't want me to get fired for the pure fact of, like, this is the first place that's really accepted and like, and validated my ADHD.
right.
So to be fired by them for what will be the fallout of my ADHD would really hurt me.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I feel like an alien a lot of the time when I'm in work.
Yeah,
Um, my work's not a hard job, it's just I think it's the fact that it's a corporate place and there's things that just make me so nervous,
yeah,
like, corporate people in general make me nervous. The fact that there's, like, an unspoken etiquette and stuff,
yeah,
I don't I it stresses me out, and I also don't like the fact that, like, it doesn't really matter how much my manager likes me and believes me and trusts me, there's a policy that will get me fired if I don't meet certain requirements. That doesn't feel safe to me.
yeah. That is terrifying.
Um, yeah, it is. Like, I'm on sickness review, and the times that I've had to take off of work have been, like, mental health,
Yeah,
uh, struggles. Um And, like, I tend to get more poorly because I forget to take my meds or I won't take them for whatever reason, or I'll take too many, or I just see I struggle with taking my own meds. So then I end up, like, going into hospital way more than the average person as well. Um, so again, like, that on paper is me having too much sickness, but it is the fallout of my ADHD.
yeah.
So technically I can and will still get fired for my ADHD.
That sucks. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem right, does it?
No, it's something that they take into accountability,
Yeah.
but it's just like it's nice we're moving somewhere, but how protected really